since you like my other truther recipes, I decided to do another one. This one's for rice pudding. It's really good for truthers because you just basically bring the ingredients to a boil and then reduce it and let it simmer for about an hour, which means you should be back on the internet in no time. You're going to need a can of coconut milk, which you empty into your pot. The coconut milk has some Gwarg polysorbate 60 and sodium metabisulfite, but other than that, I think it's okay. I guess next time I'll make sure that I find one that doesn't have that stuff in it. Then you add a cup of cow's milk or soy milk. We don't have hormones in the Canadian milk here because of Dr. Shiv Chopra, who made sure that RBGH didn't get approved in Canada, and they fired him for that, of course. But that doesn't stop Canada from importing American milk that has hormones in it, so I really don't know if my milk has hormones in it or not. Hormones will kill you. Then you add half a cup of brown rice. Okay, now for the spices. The spices are the fun part. A teaspoon of cinnamon. Cinnamon is amazing. It has a high ORAC value, oxygen radical absorbency capacity. It's like to absorb the free radicals in your body, so it's an antioxidant basically. You're supposed to aim for 6,000 ORACs a day, and just a third of a teaspoon of cinnamon has 2,000 ORACs. Oh, and another benefit of cinnamon is it decreases your insulin resistance. If you're getting a lot of high blood sugar all the time, your cells become less sensitive to insulin. They become insulin resistant, and that's like a precursor to diabetes. And the cinnamon makes them more sensitive, so less insulin resistant. So that's a good thing, assuming you don't want to become diabetic. And if you are diabetic, it's still a good thing because it can stabilize your blood sugar. Now the next thing you're going to do is add a teaspoon of ginger. Grate it on this. If you do it on this, you're just going to get a bunch of mush. So add that teaspoon of ginger. I just love ginger. I cook with it all the time. I can eat the candied stuff like you wouldn't believe. Ginger has a lot of anti-cancer properties, especially against cancer of the uterus and cancer of the colon. And it also is good for nausea. Not to give you nausea, but to get rid of it. Okay, and a teaspoon of vanilla. And a quarter cup of honey. Now stir all that up and bring it to a boil. So that's pretty much it. You just bring it to a boil, but bring it to a boil gently, don't burn it. And then you reduce it and let it simmer for about an hour, which should give you enough time to watch the latest Alex Jones report.
I have hundreds of government documents, textbooks, white papers, where for over 80 years, the elite of the Western world have talked about adulterating food and water to sicken and sterilize the population for the purpose of eugenics.
Oh God,
it's all covered in the book Eco Science, written by the White House science czar John P. Holdren, where they talk about a planetary police state to carry out the forced sterilization. They also talk about covert systems in the water and food to sterilize the population. Now, this was written decades ago, before he was White House science czar. Now,
okay, so I let it simmer for quite a few hours, actually on very low, and it turned out fine. And we're gonna have some now, so let's hope my family likes it. Is it good?
Mm-hmm.
You thought there was onions in there?
Yeah.
You thought it was yucky? Yucky with onions?
Mm-hmm.
But it's not yucky?
No.